Welcome to the live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, this is something different. We've not done this before, where we're going to have, I think, up to 10 cameras across the country at these different protests that are Christians, Hindus, Iranians, and Jews united to take a stand against terror. As you can see, the countdown on the left-hand side is giving you when the protests are set to begin. We've got a full schedule. We're going to jump between them. Rukshan, how are you doing? Are you looking forward to this, what we call in Hebrew, a balagan?
I am looking forward to the balagan, for sure. And it beats actually being there and in person, actually, I think, sitting and actually commentating on this. So it's a bit different, but, it is what it is. It's the future. It's technology, and that's what you can do with the tech that we have these days.
So right now, we've got a couple already in Melbourne. That's a couple of feeds in Melbourne. We're missing one feed, which is the stage. We've got... I've got to work out all these. So this is Melbourne at the moment. We've got... I think... Is that not that one? Sorry. We've got... So these are all the stages that we have at the moment. That's all. That's just one of the.
Still coming through.
They're coming through, the callers.
It's a work in progress.
So, guys, for now, make sure to like, comment, share the stream. We've got about 12 minutes till it all kicks off. In fact, we've got a first video come through from one of our reporters on the ground as police were preparing. So I think we'll just play that as people come in. To give you an idea of the police response in Melbourne. Is that giving me sound?
No sound yet.
No sound. Hold on. Streaming computer. No. Oh, was there no sound in the beginning of that?
No, there was sound. But...
I don't know why it's not feeding it through. Okay, that's bizarre. Streaming computer. It is saying there's sound, but it's just not picking it up. That's annoying. Very annoying. All right, hold on, I'll fix that up in a second. We've got Sydney here, which I am assuming is Sydney roaming, it looks like. So let's just go with that. I'm not sure why we're not getting sound on this. That is confusing. I will take a look in a second. Let's just see what we're seeing now. So that's Melbourne, and that's giving us Sydney at the moment.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, so if you could do it there, that would be great. Are you doing the stage?
I got it. All right, let's take a look at so many things to handle here. We'll take a look quickly. I'll mute the current feeds. This is from a few minutes ago in Melbourne. Again, I've got...
Founding. What took you so long?
just give us the order. We're moving now.
Yeah, no. You can collect it. You can collect it after the day. No. Hand it over.
That's mine, man.
You can collect it after today. Right? You've come here to bridge the piece.
No,
you
man.
can collect them at the end of the day.
He just talked to us now.
You can collect them at the end of the day.
Stop
Hand over
demonstrating.
your details. You're on the road. He's getting a ticket for being on the road.
It's my idea. Otherwise, you're going to
Hand over your details. And you can collect your property at the end of the day. Okay?
Yeah, give me my
You're here for one reason, to breach the peace.
No.
Yes, you are.
No, he told me to move here. I move here.
There's a protest down there that you can join.
He come to told me
There is a
to move
protest
there.
down there.
I'm going there. I told him I'm going there.
And you can go down there. See
No, I
these
understand
things?
that, but I want you to just stand over there for
And
me.
you're welcome.
Yeah, you can, but if you get me any further, I know it's all good, bro. Right, so just keep a distance, a safe distance. Yeah.
You've come here purposely for that. That's why you've come here.
Man, I come here for justice.
All right? So you can go down there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go now.
But we're going to take these.
Don't record me.
Pass your details.
Gotcha.
So we
Don't record me. You're not allowed.
all right?
Don't record me. You're not allowed. Free Palestine. Stop telling kids.
So pass your details and you'll be able to collect these from the Melbourne West Police Station at the end of the day. Okay? You understand?
Yeah, give me the
Take them.
No, just tell me where should I go.
Okay? Hey, you can take my name.
Yeah. What can you do to prevent
what's the police
him
station?
having his face on there? Okay.
Anyone's allowed to report you in Australia.
I'll give you a mobile number to call.
Just step away from the camera.
Ah.
Don't touch the camera. Step away. Step away from the camera. Step away from the camera.
Okay, you got it. Just get the Melbourne West, get the police station. I'll let them know.
Yeah, what's the mobile number, sorry?
Mate, can you just move up a bit, just so you don't cause us grief when we're trying to do our job.
Yeah, alright.
Nothing says it for a peaceful protest.
All right, there we have it. Police taking it seriously this time, which is understandable.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome everyone to the live stream. We've got currently, what do we got? We've got a few, at the moment, streams going. So welcome. There's about 5.5 minutes till the live stream starts. I can see there's almost 3,000 of you with us. Guys, it's up to you to make this go far and wide. This is we're trying something new where we can run multiple live streams across the country for one national event. I'm excited about it. There's a lot of work for me to do here because unlike Rukshan, I have to take care of the technical.
You're actually doing the all the technical work of a live production. Single man by himself. I mean, it's quite impressive how far you've come from not being able to turn a computer on to now. Now doing this.
I will unmute. So, we won't run all their mics at the same time, just because it's going to give us a massive headache. So we'll go. When there's some speeches or interviews, we'll turn on some of those mics. We're waiting for Perth to call in. So just for people at home, it's up to you guys to help us get the numbers. I want to hit 30,000 by the end of this stream. So you guys need to go out there and share this stream on whatever platform you're watching on. The comments that you're seeing at the bottom of the screen, they are from YouTube. So both my YouTube and Rukshan's YouTube. You can get involved in that conversation if you go to our YouTube, and if you chuck in a super chat, we really appreciate it. That supports, that helps fund what we do. So a super chat, but every single super chat we will read by the end of the show, just depending on the actual. Yep.
Yeah, and I was going to say, it says the rally starting in like 3.5 minutes, but I think with all these rallies, by the time people set up, get things going, there's a bit of a delay. So we can obviously just have a bit of a chit chat as well during that time. I think for people that might not know what's going on, it's a united vigil against terrorism being held in all the capital cities across our states. Just to say that, you know, a lot of Australians, I think the majority of Australians has had enough of terrorism that is become a norm in our major cities, especially. And it's just people kind of voicing their concerns and standing up against that.
Right.
I think I've got to just manage some of these audios. All good. We've got already a super chat, first super chat of the live stream. Thank you, not Bob Saget. That's up to you to read these, mate.
Yeah, mate. Shout out to any hot dog heroes in the chat. Avi, do you see these being peaceful rallies or become mostly peaceful rallies eventually?
Yeah, so I think you're referring to, if I'm not mistaken, many of the far left-wing rallies that are described as mostly peaceful because they never really are peaceful. So the media can't say mostly, they can't say fully peaceful, they say mostly peaceful, and they tend to be violent. I can guarantee you that this rally today united Christians, Hindus, Jews, Iranians. That's going to be a peaceful rally. We did see already earlier police moving on some Palestinians who were coming to disrupt. Again, all super chats will read, so thank you, not Bob, for that super chat.
But I can see, Avi, like I've seen, even when it's a peaceful rally like this, and let's say the agitators do come from Antifa or any of these other groups, the media will generally frame it as, you know, anti-terrorism rally turns violent. So it depends how it will be framed in the mainstream media if there is some type of altercation or some type of group that shows up. But the rallies themselves, the whole message is around peace and you know, supporting and celebrating what it means to be Australian as well as you know, the rejection of terrorism in Australia, which is fundamental to our way of life, and we've seen that disrupted over a number of years now, and very poignantly in Melbourne just a couple of days ago. So it's very relevant, the timing that we're seeing this nationwide rally come about. And yeah, I'm interested to hear what the speakers have to say.
Yep, so we're hopefully going to have, the aim is to have one on the stage and one roaming in each place. At the moment, we currently have one stage locked in. I think they're having issues logging in, but we'll see how we go. Brisbane's got the stage going. Let me just test something because these people are saying that they're having problems logging in. I'll get one of the audios working.
So I think if I can see from the Brisbane video that's coming in, this appears to be photos on the ground. I think they're potentially victims of a recent terrorist attack. Those images in the frames that's being shown to us.
I'm just going to keep the music off, so... Okay, let me test something. Okay, so the rally is set to begin now. We can remove those. Where am I getting that? All right, we've got Perth coming.
I'll come back to you, hey?
Perth is in.
All right, let's go. We'll put Perth as number 9. Okay. Oh, yeah, Perth is in. All right, so we've got now all the roaming cameras. I just want to turn the volume off one so we don't get into trouble for music. At this point, they're going to be running music, so it is what it is. So right now we're seeing all 4 states. Sorry, 3. I can't even. Who am I hearing? I'm hearing someone. Oh, that's Benji's. Oh, yeah. Like Benji loves his trams. He's got his tram. So guys, get involved in the comments on YouTube. So both mine and Rukshan's YouTubes. And obviously Super Chats, we'll be reading all of them, including a couple here now. Go for it, Rukshan.
This is from Satiric Talks. Thanks for the Super Chat, mate. I'm Israel. Hi. Let Australia live.
Yes, and guys, keep posting Israel Chai just to make Rukshan read it over and over. That way it gets clipped time and time again, and online he gets outed as a Zionist shill.
Zionist shill, Mossad asset.
Okay, who else have we got? We've got a few super chats coming in now.
This is from Normal is overrated. Thanks for the super chat, mate. Write these references down and please research them. I wonder if your local members agree they are grossly illegal. Quran 654 children. Okay, 424 slavery, 434 domestic violence, and there's a few other references there as well. 812, 747. I think it's references to the Quran. This person's shared.
I think they're different surahs or whatever they call them, verses in the Quran where he's saying they would probably go against Australian law. I understand what he's trying to say. Thank you so much for the super chat. I hope you're enjoying this stream, guys. Make sure to share it. All super chats will get read. We have another super chat here.
This is from Thomas. Thanks, Thomas. Thanks to both of you for providing these streams. I'm sick and tired of these left-wing mobs using violence and hate to intimidate Judeo-Christian people in our country. I'm Israel High. I mean, just Friday, I actually landed back in Australia, and it was crazy just to see that the day that I landed on Friday, I was like, I'm back in Australia, because the first thing I heard about when I turned on the news was attacks on a synagogue, attacks on people at a restaurant, attacks at some other business, all in the name of, a foreign conflict to terrorize people in Australia going about their lives. And this is not who we are. It's become normalized. The police are not doing anything about it. We've had this, the Prime Minister comes out with these messages about, we reject all this. How many times has he read that same script? Because it happens over and over and over again, and nothing happens. It just keeps going like this. And I don't think it's at all helping this kind of idea about the melting pot of Australia, the diversity of it. All these things are being eroded by this thing that the police and the authorities here can't seem to be able to confront in a way that actually serves the interests of the Australian public, and that is to not have these instances being normalized, but they are.
Yep, and I just want to point out, Thomas, again, thanks for the super chat. We'll be reading all of them. But when you say thank you to both of you for providing these streams, I just want to point out Rukshan did absolutely nothing for this one.
I just turned up.
Really appreciate it, mate. And here we go, another one for you.
Doodle Noy, thanks for the super chat. Can both sides stop bombing children?
Okay,
Look, yeah.
So
you
firstly, I'd say your moral equivalence is, check your moral compass. If you think collateral damage and targeting of women and children and butchering them and kidnapping them, remember that's how this all started. This conflict is the same thing as targeting terrorists who hide behind children and the children getting killed is the same thing. Then that's probably something you need to contend with. You probably have never lived in a war zone, so you wouldn't know. However, what I would also say is this is less about even the conflict there. This is about terrorism here on our streets. And this is a united effort between different communities, the Christian, the Hindu, the Iranian, all groups that have experience with terrorism. And they're warning to Australia not to allow it to come in. I think the timing is perfect because of what we've seen on the weekend. To be honest, any week in Melbourne would probably be, in the last couple of years, would be perfect timing because there's unfortunately been an attack on a daily basis. But listen, even your super chats that are ignorant will get read out here because at the end of the day, we're reading super chats. There you go, another one for you.
This is from Zan Van Day. Thanks for the super chat. Thanks, Avi and Rukshan. You guys are awesome. How about asking Australians about what we want in regards to immigration? Yeah, I mean, all these things are kind of interconnected. Obviously, when Australians see, this is Hardware Lane in Melbourne, kind of like the dining district, area that people go to have a meal and enjoy their, Friday night or Saturday night with their families and just enjoy the lifestyle in Melbourne. And then to have that with these kind of mobs roaming the streets, yelling things about, foreign conflict, and then trying to storm a restaurant, smashing windows. It's just insane. It's just crazy. Like, we should not be tolerated in this country. Like, that is not what a civil society is. And the more and more that it's allowed to happen, the more it will continue to happen, because these groups have been emboldened. They have no fear of the police. They have no fear of the legal system. They know that they can get away with doing this, and they will continue to do it. And it only escalates to a point where I truly believe someone's going to get hurt or killed because of this. You've already had some that same night someone trying to put a door on fire at the synagogue in East Melbourne, I believe. So to do those type of acts, you're deliberately trying to hurt people and harm people, and that is not who we are as a society in Australia. Where it comes to these political disagreements, even if it be a foreign conflict, we have people in this country from all around the world who are involved in ethnic conflicts for whatever reason, but we haven't seen this level of derangement when it comes to attacking the Australian way of life. And that's essentially what it is. You might look at this and be like, oh, they're just attacking Israeli places, or they're attacking Jews, but attack on those institutions in Australia is attack on the Australian values, where we value people's safety and harmony and the way that we can live together, no matter where you're from. So any attack on those institutions is an attack on all of us. And I think that's why these type of rallies are important. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
I think I have a technical solution for one of the stages. We'll see. Look, it's obviously they're running a little bit late, and we'll be here as they start. What's this one?
This is from Mark. Thanks for the super chat. Islam cannot coexist with civilized humanity. I mean, that's a very broad statement, and some people have those sentiments. But you do see successful Middle Eastern countries cooperating with the West.
You see now, I think I would have been somebody that once would have said that, but then you look at something like the UAE and you understand that there's definitely it needs to be what's the
Abraham Accords?
No, but what's his name? The Imam of Peace, who's been preaching for years about
Imam Tawhidi,
who's been pushing for essentially to progress the religion, a bit of enlightenment, like we saw with other faiths.
Reformation,
to reforming it. That's it. That's the word I was actually looking for. I don't think I'm going to be able to get his live up.
I mean, look, there's definitely elements of a lot of foreign faiths and things like this which are not compatible with the West, but it's tolerated. But I think tolerance has to have a limit, and that is the thing. So, we're probably over-tolerant societies when it comes to tolerating things which are, dangerous to our way of life, if that makes sense, in terms of the values and the customs and the traditions, which are, things which are contradictory, but it's tolerated in Australia. And I think because those things are tolerated, there should be that mutual respect of tolerance to other people's religions and things. But necessarily that's not what's happening right now.
I'm just going to check.
Catherine's got a super chat. I'm sick of these idiots attacking freedom.
I think she must be referring. I'm just pulling up, just checking if any of them have something going on.
Yeah, doesn't look like it.
No, they're all just still setting up, as you can see here. We've got another super chat.
Benjamin Fairhall, thanks for the super chat. One day I watched Tony Burke explain why he banned Kanye from visiting Australia, warning us about Islamophobia. There were multiple anti-Semitic attacks. Go figure.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's very funny. The government often does that whenever they want to talk about anti-Semitism, attacks on Jews. Then they have to refer back to Islamophobia to kind of soften up their message so that it's acceptable to the voting base, the Labor voting base, which is obviously a big part of Western Sydney. That's what they rely on. And so they'll never actually take a principled position because they don't want to lose their voting base. What I want to tell people is we've got 5,465 of you on watching now live across the channels.
Okay.
So,
you can edit it.
oh, here we
Yeah,
go.
he will edit it to a little bit that you put on.
So make sure to share this stream as the protests get bigger. We can obviously the bigger the audience online, the better the stream gets. So especially for me and Rukshan, because Rukshan's done nothing.
Anthony Madison, thanks for the super chat, mate. Trump's fault. I mean, there would be those who would try to tie this to Donald Trump, but I think there's a lot of stuff that.
Humanity against the inhumanity of terrorism. We're here particularly to call for the Australian government to join the Canadians and Americans in recognising the Iranian revolution.
We can do it again.
Yeah,
We're going
thank
to edit it anyway. Let's get away from the music. Go over here where it's quiet.
This is great because we have basically
He will edit it anyway.
citizen journalists everywhere. They said we're going to edit it. I don't know if they realise that we're actually live as well.
Hi, we're here today in Perth to stand against terrorism. We're people who are united. We have different faiths, different national backgrounds, but we're united in humanity against the inhumanity of terrorism. We're particularly concerned here today to call on our government to join the other governments of the world in listing the IRGC as a terrorist organisation. There's so much misery and suffering caused by the Iranians and their agents. We want our government to acknowledge them as terrorists and to help fight against them. We're here to call for an end to the lack of tolerance. We understand maybe not in circumstances, but we don't want conflicts and intolerance coming to Australia. And we recognise the people protest, but we don't want to have hatred and intolerance spread in this country.
Fantastic. Thank you.
I have no idea who that is, but he spoke well.
Yeah.
Take two it was. Take two. They promised him that
I think the sound here and there will be a bit low. Obviously, it's a live setting.
Listen, you got to understand we've got almost everyone streaming for us are amateurs, and they're doing a good job. This is a Persian, an Iranian.
For Iranian country and Israeli country, supporting for freedom. Thank you for Israeli government, for help for Iranian, for freedom the Iran. Oh, God bless Israeli country. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Well, that's a Persian. That kind of. It's interesting to see that. What have we got here? That's all rhyming. I'm missing one. It's interesting when you see Persians, Iranians here, especially around the world, standing up and supporting Israel, because it seems like it's counterintuitive. Why would they support Israel bombing Iran? But a lot of them say, and they recognize that they're actually bombing the regime. And, a lot of these people fled Iran as dissidents who were fighting for freedom. And unlike many immigrants that come here, they're dying to go back home. And they recognize that Israel is their chance to get back home.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Whenever I've seen Iranians kind of speaking online, they'll always make that distinction that it's about the regime that they're against. Like some of them get offended when you kind of mention Iran in a negative context. They're saying it's not the country, it's not the people, it's the regime. So it's always important to remember that. Catherine Cavani, thanks for the super chat again. A phobia is an irrational fear. I am not irrational. That's a great comment, Catherine. I think the West especially doesn't need to have an irrational fear when it comes to things like terrorism or certain phobias that we have of certain groups, because it has been proven to be a correct fear to have in some instances, because our lack of attention to it has caused mass casualty events in countries. Thank God, not in Australia to the extent that we've seen in places like the United States of America and parts of Europe. But it's been a common thing for the last 20, 30 years. We've had these attacks by Islamic fundamentalists really targeting the West and Western values. It's not an uncommon It's not something that we're speculating on. This has happened. And now we're seeing this kind of this joining of...
Hold on, sorry.
Yeah, so that's you.
Yeah, no.
I've got too many things I'm doing, eh? Oh, here we go. Anyways,
Now we have this alliance between, I guess, these kind of hardline Islamic fundamentalists in some instances, these left-wing groups, parts of the media, and even parts of the political establishment, all emboldened to kind of work together to disintegrate the value of Western society. Mostly, it's a dangerous alliance, I think, because it's helping to hide some of the things that we would have caught on to back in the day, whereas today it's being accepted as normal. And I think that's why we're seeing these more emboldened and brazen attacks on members of the public here in Australia, because, you know, it's protected by the political class. It's protected by Labor, the Greens. Here we go, we've got Perth.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Matthew Ogilvie. I'm the chairperson of Friends of Israel Western Australia. I also serve as the Vice President of the Liberal Party of Western Australia. Thank you all so much for being here today. The weather may be cold, but our hearts are warm. I want to thank our speakers, who I'll later introduce individually. But I want to thank all of you for being here today. As we look around, we see people of diverse backgrounds, different faiths, different national origins. You are witness to something very important today. We are not here representing one faith, one ethnic community. We are here representing humanity. We stand united in our common humanity. We stand against the inhumanity of terrorism. We stand here united in our commitment to the common good, against the evil and the divisiveness of terrorism. I want a special thank you to Minority Impact, the organisation that has brought us together. Minority Impact is a group of Australians from different ethnic backgrounds. They're fighting to bring back social cohesion and to stand against radicalism. Minority Impact is a grassroots organisation which, thanks to all of you, has become a national movement to stand united against terror. I want to thank all the organisations who have given their support to promoting this event today. I won't mention them all by name, but they're on the flyers, they're on the web information. But I do want to give a special shout out to Never Again Is Now. You may have received one of these flyers. There is another rally coming up on October 19th. Australians Against Anti-Semitism National Rally. I'd urge you to take one of the flyers. There's QRs on there. Share the flyers, share the code, the QR codes with your friends. Before I introduce our speakers, I want to highlight three goals that we stand for today. We want Australia to join civilised nations like the USA and Canada to list the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, as a terrorist organisation. The IRGC...
Let's take a look at. Let's see if.
And as the minorities of Australia,
here we go.
We have a role to play in building a civil society
Brisbane, is it?
where everybody is
Sydney
safe
now.
and free. So
Sydney.
follow them on social, sign up, donate, and big shout out to Minority Collective, to Roz and Hava, and the team. And so that's great. Now, we here. And big shout out to Minority Collective.
Sorry,
I think we've got the live stream going. Okay, we are all about love and unity, and so this afternoon we are going to keep this super positive. We have a beautiful afternoon, and we're united together to say, as Australians, we all stand here against hate and for this great and wonderful country. And so it gives me great pleasure to introduce my co-MC for the afternoon, Kiran Sampath Kumar, who is going to lead us on. Thank you, Kiran.
Woo! Woo! Thank you very much, Mark. Namaste, everyone, and welcome. It's genuinely very exciting to see such a large, diverse group of people coming together on a Sunday afternoon to stand against a united cause of terrorism. I'll be introducing our first speaker. Our first speaker is Ashwani Ji Takru, who was born and raised in the beautiful valley of Kashmir in India, where he completed his schooling. However, like many Kashmiri Hindus, he and his family were tragically forced to flee their homeland in the face of escalating terrorism. Growing up in Kashmir, Ashwani witnessed firsthand the brutal reality of this violence. Ashwani is a passionate advocate for peace and understanding and a valued member of the Kashmiri Pundits Association of Sydney, where he has previously served in various capacities, including the role of Vice President. Ashwani.
Seems to be drama there in Melbourne. That's Melbourne on the
left, yeah. I think there's someone that's trying to come in and cause drama.
Yeah. While David Southwick there is talking. I'm trying to get the other Melbourne one, Lisa, to head to the stage.
Podium.
It's the only one we're missing a stage.
In a free and democratic way. And for those others that have done the same, we share your pain, we welcome you, we love you, and we stand beside you. Thank you very much.
That was David Southwick. We need Lisa. So there's one there trying to disrupt. You can see those are the peacekeepers that are. That's what's his name? Nick Patterson's group there.
Nick Patterson's
it looks
group.
like who are stopping her from disrupting. They always look like that. They either look like that or they look like terrorists.
Joshua's career in the arts has seen him land many different roles, specialising in musical theatre.
What's being said in Perth?
Let's head to Perth. Yep. I'm just. Oh wait, hold on. Let's just watch police.
Yeah. Or we can make Melbourne big.
Yeah, Benji. Let's just have a look.
Telling you your reason. My reasons for
So these are live for. Oh, she's moved on. Just wants to enter the peaceful gathering for no.
She must have said something or something. She looks like she's carrying a camera like some type of photographer, but there must have been something that she said.
Of course.
I don't think people normally care about that.
All right, I'm going to try get the second camera, or I might get Benji to move to the stage, and then we've got that. But for now, what do we want to listen to? Perth?
Share each other. We've got Christians, Jews, Buddhists, everybody. We haven't got Muslims because they had a stand over there and they've left, which is good.
Wrong group. Sorry.
Destroying, but we will not let them tear away our common humanity. Our thoughts are with our Melbourne Jewish community after Friday night's horrendous acts of anti-Semitism and domestic terrorism. We will continue to honour the memories of all victims of terror, and we will continue to pray for the release of all our hostages. We are resolved to keep advocating for an end to the oppressive ruling regime of Iran and all others who deny their own people basic freedoms. Israelis are tired of war, but they are not tired of fighting for peace. Anyone who knows the history of Israel will know that it has always actively sought peace, but time after time has been attacked by those who wish to annihilate the only Jewish state and the only democratic country in the Middle East. True peace in the Middle East will only come when those who worship death are defeated and when those who choose life are actually allowed to live it. I'm Israel Chai. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Melanie.
All right.
Ladies
Here we've got the stages.
I'd like to introduce Mariam.
That's the stages, and that's the crowds. Done.
From the Iranian community. Maybe if I can go off script
Let's
for a
listen to Sydney a minute.
Yep.
Fast forward to April 2025.
Terrorists killed 26 tourists in Pahalgam region of Kashmir.
Not great
They
audio.
deliberately.
Let me see if the other Sydney gives me a better
inquiring
audio.
about their religious identity and shot them point blank in front of their traumatized family members, including wives and children, who were scared only to recount the horrors they witnessed.
Maybe Brisbane. I'll give Brisbane a listen. Let's hear what they're saying in Brisbane. Brisbane State.
Nor for the innocent people of the Middle East. It's driven by an unholy alliance of radical Marxists and radical Islamists who have spread both suffering and destruction even among Muslims across the region. Iran, my homeland, was among the first victims of this alliance. For 46 years, my country has been under the control of rulers who does not believe in human values. Using the wealth of the Iranian people, they have worked to export terror worldwide, and whenever brave Iranians rise up against them, they are brutally crushed. At the core of this ideology lies anti-Semitism and deep hostility towards Western values. Opposite to what they claim, these forces do not want peace in the Middle East. They exploit the suffering of innocent people to wage war against the West and to undermine the very Australian values that have given us all a home. Chanting this to Israel or
In India. There's another girl. For last 2,000 years. For last 2,000 years, our community has never been at any kind of confrontation.
We can hear Benji yapping away.
Unfortunately, we also share a very deep history of hatred that we have faced from the terrorists and people who support them. And also, we can't left to mention the far left-wing media. Both have left no turned up stone to dehumanize Jewish life, to dehumanize Hindu life. I remember when the attack happened in 2023 in Israel, when many of our Jewish brothers and sisters lost their lives. Many were kidnapped. A section of media, they tried to dehumanize Hindu life. I want to grab that other girl. They tried to portray able to hold those victims as perpetrators and the perpetrators as the victims. Hold this in. And I must tell you that the grief that you have seen, you have undergone, the Hindu community stands strong with you. We support Israel's action against the terrorism. No matter what, Hindus are going to be the most pro-Jewish community in the world. And
Is that true,
India
Rukshan?
is the most
I am not Hindu,
pro-Israeli
so I
nation in
wouldn't
the
know.
world.
But,
With that, I will say, long live our friendship. We share the same
there is a
values
long,
and we
strong
share
friendship between
the
the two
same
countries,
enemies.
though.
Thank you.
Just beautiful, beautiful words. Thank you, Sarah. So I'm now going to introduce a lovely lady by the name of Karen. Karen was born and raised in Kibbutz Kfar Aza, one of the Israeli communities that was brutally attacked during the October 7 massacre perpetrated by Hamas. Her family was directly affected by the violence, and she has returned to Israel multiple times to support loved ones and a community shattered by loss and trauma. Karen personally knew many of the...
Sorry, I'm just changing.
Advocacy is deeply personal. She remains a tireless voice for justice, particularly for Gully and Ziv Berman, two surviving hostages from Kfar Aza who have endured over 600 days in captivity and are still there. Through national media across Australia, Karen has bravely shared her story to help Australians grasp the human toll of terrorism and the critical need for empathy, truth, and meaningful action. So everybody here, please let her feel welcome. Karen!
My name is Karen Nornson. I was born and raised in Kibbutz Kfar Aza, a close-knit community of 250 families just 2 kilometers from the Gaza border. It was a place filled with laughter, love, and generations who built a peaceful life. Ironically, our community, proudly socialist, believed deeply in peace. We didn't just talk about coexistence, we lived it. As a child, I remember swimming at the beach in Gaza. My family believed in our shared humanity. For years, my father supported a Gazan family through the Road to Recovery program, helping bring Palestinians to Israeli hospitals for medical care. Even after October 7th, he continued to help that same family who managed to escape to Egypt so that their daughter could receive life-saving treatment.
Never again
Because
is
we
now.
believed in peace.
Never again
And even
is
now,
now.
we still believe
Never
in
again
humanity.
is now.
But on October 7th, 2023, at 3:30 p.m. Melbourne time, our life changed forever. I was in my lounge room in Melbourne when the messages started pouring in. Hamas terrorists had invaded our kibbutz, over 300 of them. I sat frozen, trying to find out if my family had survived. That day, 65 of our neighbours, our friends, were brutally murdered. 19 more were kidnapped and dragged across the border. My parents survived. My siblings and nephews survived. But many of my closest friends, people who were like family, did not. For months, I couldn't function. Each day brought new pain, another body identified, another life taken. But through that grief, a new fight began, the fight to bring our hostages home. It's now been 638 days since innocent people, children, parents, grandparents were kidnapped and taken into the underground tunnels of Hamas. 638 days of suffering for those being held and for their families, waiting, praying and hoping. From Faraza, we're still waiting for Gali and Ziv Berman, beautiful twin brothers who live just 2 houses from mine, my neighbours. They're being held in cruel, inhumane conditions, and it could have just as easily been me or my family. So I ask you, what would Australia do if over 250 of its citizens were dragged from their homes and locked away by terrorists? Wouldn't you expect the world to stand with you? Instead, we've seen a rise in hate, domestic intifadas, a blurring of what terrorism even means. We've seen it before, the broken window theory, synagogues burned just 2 days ago on our Sabbath around the corner from here, Jewish schools vandalised, shops attacked, riots in Jewish suburbs, all in the name of an ideology that seeks to destroy the only Jewish state. Let me be clear, the hostages are not bargaining chips, they're innocent human beings.
That's right, that's right.
They're being tortured, raped, starved and psychologically abused. Every single day they're held is a crime against humanity. And let me be even clearer, I do not hate, I do not seek revenge. We never wanted this. We seek justice, we seek humanity, and we demand the immediate and unconditional release of every hostage in Gaza. And to the governments of the world, this is not a political issue, it's a moral one. Every leader, every nation must demand their release, loudly, clearly, without condition, without delay. A united message against terrorism could have ended this long ago. Instead, silence and excuses have allowed this to continue. Our mission is simple, to bring them home.
That's right.
This isn't just a fight for Israel, it's a fight for a world that values life, that stands against terror, that chooses compassion, dignity and freedom. So today, I stand before you not just as someone who's lived through October 7th, but as someone who still believes in something greater. A new day will rise, a day of hope, a day without terror, a day where every hostage comes home, a day where we all choose humanity over hate. To stop terrorism, to end hate, we must confront it, or it will continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Right on.
So these are the 4 stages that we have across the country. And the audio we're getting in Melbourne is the clearest at the moment. We can try jump to Brisbane.
Sydney, yeah, Brisbane or Sydney.
That was very touching. Thank you, Karen, for sharing that. Omid has been a political activist for more than 25 years and is currently the spokesperson for Melli
This
Run,
is the stages.
a patriotic and
These are the
constitutional
crowds, although
organisation based
Sydney's
in Melbourne.
crushed on us.
Melli Run has held many events across the city, aiming to raise awareness about the true face of the Ayatollah's evil regime, including the IRGC's terrorist activities, the execution of innocent people in Iran simply for their beliefs or who they are as people, and the serious threat that this regime continues to pose. So, without me talking more about it, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Omid!
Thank you. I wanted to say this at the end, but I can't wait to say that. Long live Israel, long live Iran, long live freedom. My name is Omid, and I proudly speak on behalf of Melli Run, the patriotic and constitutional network of Iranian Australians. And not just Melli Run, but all Iranian, young and old, who stands for peace and security for our fellow Australians, our friends, from every background, and all who cherish peace, human dignity, and freedom. Today, at this Nation Unity Rally, we gather solidarity not only to raise our voices against terrorism, but to stand tall for the shared values that united us as Australians: democracy, safety, mutual respect, and justice. As part of the Iranian community, we stand here to affirm our unwavering rejection of all forms of extremism, anti-Semitism, terrorism, and hatred. Whether through acts of violence on our streets or through state-sponsored terrorism abroad. Terrorism in any form is an attack on humanity itself. As Iranian Australians, our hearts are heavy with the suffering of our people back home in Iran. For more than 4 decades, the Iranian people live under a regime that suppresses basic freedoms, imprisons innocent voices, and uses fear as a weapon of control. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, a military arm of the Islamic Republic regime who occupied our beautiful land, is not only a domestic oppressor, it's a designated terrorist organization that funds and arms extremist groups.
Of course, before the British divided India, there was, of course, no Bangladesh or Pakistan. Today, Bangladesh is, of course, a Muslim majority population, and the indigenous Hindus of Bangladesh have been massacred in large numbers. They've had to either convert or they've had to flee their homes in Bangladesh and seek refuge elsewhere. 15% of Hindus resided in pre-undivided India, which is now known as Pakistan. And guess how many percentage is left now of Hindus in Pakistan? 2%. And the statistics are, you can Google them yourself, that 4 Hindu minor girls are kidnapped every 15 days in the province of Sindh, Pakistan today. Where is the media outrage? Nowhere. Where is the global coverage? Nowhere. And people know that India and Pakistan have fought many wars in the past 78 years, of course, all of which India have won. But do you know why we fight these wars? Terrorism. We have come here united against terrorism, and in the last 17 years alone, Pakistani-based terrorist groups have been responsible for so many terrorist attacks. 2017, Jammu Kashmir. 2008, Mumbai, 170 people were killed. Mumbai, 2006, 7 train bomb exploding across, 190 people killed, 800 people injured. Mumbai, 2003, bombings in very famous areas, 50 Indians killed at least. And of course, all of these were, there was Luxury Taliban, which is a Pakistan terrorist organization. They had claimed responsibility for all of these attacks. And there's many more, including the Pahalgam attack, which was recently this year. Now, Kashmir is a Sanskrit word. The word Kashmir itself is a Vedic word for Kashyapa, the land of Lord Shiv. So Kashmir has been occupied by Pakistan unlawfully and illegally, and Jammu and Kashmir was, is, and always will be a part of India.
That's controversial, is it?
That's controversial as Palestine and Gaza.
Most of you might not know this,
Kashmir
but India
border,
was
yeah.
invaded and colonized by the Mughal invaders and also the Durrani settlers.
Yeah, similar thing during partition.
Post that, what has occurred, especially in Kashmir, is that because of the Islamic majority, the indigenous Kashmiri Hindus have faced 8 exodus. Thousands of Pandit Kashmiris became refugees in their own land, having to flee Kashmir after the 1990 Hindu genocide in Kashmir. Since the various terrorist groups have emerged within Kashmir and sponsored by a combination of Pakistani and militants in Kashmir that have only one aim and end goal, which is to eradicate non-Muslims from secular Hindu majority regions such as India and to perform global dominance of Islamic extremism against Kafirs or infidels, including, of course, wiping out Hindus, Jews and Zoroastrians, amongst other communities residing in that region. I believe now is the time to fight harder than we've ever had to fight before, to push the change for the false narrative, which is all around the mainstream media against us. There is Hindu-phobic, anti-Indian, anti-Semitic, Israel-hating rhetoric labeling us as Hindutva or Zionists, and it is this time that we have to mercifully unite against religious-based terrorism, which we are facing alone in its full wrath. Be bold, be unapologetic, be educated. Statistics, data, history prove that we are not the ones spreading terrorism or anyone else. We are on the receiving end, having to defend ourselves over and over and over again for generations and centuries. Enough is enough. Thank you.
I'll move over to another one. What have we got? Perth.
Dictators like Pervez Musharraf who's Iraq in Pakistan.
They're all Indian speakers at the moment.
So this is a combined event, right? So we got Jewish speakers, Iranian, and Indian Hindu speakers, I believe.
Just a few months ago, these terrorists singled out unarmed tourists and shot them in
What's happening in Brisbane?
Brisbane.
My friend standing here, Rakesh Khan, he's in exile from his own
regime, requesting the Australian government to announce IRGC as a terrorist organization, but ignored. The Islamic regime is responsible for losing thousands of innocent lives in Iran, in Gaza, in Lebanon, in Syria, and in Yemen. Gold Mayer, the Prime Minister of Israel, serving from 1969 to 1974, had a few quotes. And the most beautiful one that I love is, peace will come when Palestinians love their children more than they hate us. Unfortunately, for the last 20 years, Hamas was in charge of education in Gaza. Instead of teaching love and humanity, the kids have been taught hate and become either murderers or martyrs. IRGC is the father of Hamas with the same ideology and eliminating whoever stands against their policy. Hamas uses women and children as human shield, even assassinates any Palestinian protesters. shooting any Palestinian attempt for food that was confiscated by Hamas. And in Iran, the Islamic regime has caused poverty, and whoever protests get arrested, imprisoned, tortured, and a high chance of execution. Mr. Albanese, it is time to wake up and put IRGC in terrorist list. Stand with people of Iran, stand with regime change, and stand with people who want peace, no matter what the fate is. Thank you.
Okay, let's see what other. Let's go to Sydney. I'll go to Sydney.
With the ones who are our flag, ones who jailed us for days.
Someone's singing.
Killed the girl for her hair. Who stole our wages,
Fired
our
up, and
voices,
I guess the other people on the other side also getting
so
fired
if
up.
you hear
That's
us
been there.
You can do some super
I will
chats if
next
you want to do
introduce
super chats as well.
Yeah.
Colonel Michael Scott of the ADF. Michael has
Okay,
served
listen
for
to
over
him.
30 years as an
Michael
active
Scott.
duty
I'm just trying
officer
to
in the
get
Australian
eyes.
Army, rising to the rank of colonel. Michael is the founder and CEO of the 2023 Foundation, a global charity dedicated to combating anti-Semitism. October 7 and the resulting surge in global anti-Semitism deeply impacted him. Michael resolved that he would not be a bystander.
Ladies and gentlemen, how good is Australia, hey? Look at this weather and look at this turnout. Shalom, salam, namaste, and g'day. My name is Michael Scott. I'm the founder of the 2023 Foundation, a nascent global charity to combat anti-Semitism. Before founding the charity, I served for more than 30 years in the Australian Army, rising to the rank of colonel. My operational service included East Timor, Bougainville, Iraq, and 2 tours of Afghanistan. And from July 2019 to September 2021, I resided in Jerusalem, Israel's eternal capital, with my wife Dracena. My mission area included Israel, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, and Egypt. It's been a difficult few years, and the past 12 months have been especially painful. Indian and Iranian communities in Australia continue to face disturbing incidents of violence, intimidation, and foreign interference. For Iranian Australians, the threats are both local and transnational. In 2025, community leaders again raised alarms about regime surveillance and the harassment of family members in Iran targeted simply because their loved ones spoke out here. These are not distant concerns, they are part of our shared Australian reality. And so I say to you today, I see you, I hear you, I stand with you. I was not expecting the chance of Gas the Jews, F the Jews at the Sydney Opera House on the 9th of October 2023. I turned to my wife and said, "Sweetheart, I must do something. I will not be a bystander." I founded the 2023 Foundation soon after. The mission of the 2023 Foundation is to combat anti-Semitism through lived personal experience. Our vision is to nurture tomorrow's non-Jewish upstanders, not bystanders. And in this mission, we find common cause, because today, good people of all backgrounds are finding their voice. Jewish people are not the only ones being persecuted. We live in dangerous and frightening times, but also in times of great opportunity. When Mahatma Gandhi once spoke for all humans, he said, "You may never know what results come of your actions, but if you do nothing, there will be no result." If you are here today, it is proof positive that you have chosen action.
So-called peace activist circles, and even
This is
in
Melbourne
a
now.
political landscape. Let's not be afraid to say it. The Greens have crossed a line. Being anti-Zionist is and always will be anti-Semitic.
That's right. That's right.
I used to go into the city with my grandparents on the holidays. I am now forced to tuck in my Jewish necklace. Jews are now scared to go into the city on Sundays. Enough is enough.
That's it, yeah.
This is un-Australian. It stands against everything that democracy, freedom, and the Western world believe in. In Israel, they're under constant threat from a network of Islamic terror organizations. Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and the Houthis in Yemen, the regime in Iran. These aren't freedom fighters. These are extremists who murder, torture, and target civilians proudly. Let me be clear. The October 7th massacre was the worst crime against the Jewish people since the Holocaust.
That's right.
That was
Jewish
not
orphans
resistance.
fleeing the Nazis reached Iran and then India. The British colonial authorities were reluctant to intervene, but the good Maharaja stepped up. He opened his palace. He fed the children. He educated them. He gave them dignity and love. To this day, a school in Tel Aviv bears his name. He didn't see Jews or foreigners. He saw children who needed saving. Ladies and gentlemen, that is leadership. Let their example serve as a call to action for us. We have agency. We must use it. Let me describe what I am doing. The 2023 Foundation is building a grassroots social movement. And I say to you here today, perhaps some of your community's brightest young scholars from Iranian, Indian, or broader backgrounds might one day travel to Israel on a scholarship provided by the 2023 Foundation to study, to work, and to experience, to bring skills, connections, and insights back home with you. As alumni of the 2023 Foundation, your success is my success. I will do everything in my power to help you succeed. We live in an Orwellian age of projection and gaslighting, where truth is distorted and lies are repeated until they sound familiar. It is my judgment that we are not yet at nadir. Things will continue to worsen until the critical mass of us stands up, steps forward, and declares never again. Ladies and gentlemen, this may seem like a daunting task, but take heart. Many here today draw your ancestry from the great kings of the past. You carry the strength of Cyrus and the courage of the good Maharaja in your veins and their example in your hearts. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's time for our light to shine. It's time to stand up. It's time to step forward. It's time to speak up. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Together, we can and we will prevail.
Very good. I'll go back to...
Thank you very much, Michael, and thank you for your service. Now it gives me a great pleasure to introduce one of the most remarkable young Australians on the national scene. I'm not at all biased as I introduce a host of Sky News, a star of Sky News, a researcher and writer at the Menzies Research Institute, a recent graduate of Sydney University, and future Prime Minister of Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, Freya Leach.
You're not biased at all, Dad. Thanks for that one. Well, thank you everyone for being here today. It is honestly so incredible to look out and see people that I've never seen before, communities I haven't had much to do with, to get out of our little bubble and into the rest of Sydney and to realise that there is so much that unites us, so much more that unites us than divides us. We are united by our love of people, by our belief in the dignity of human life, by our belief that nobody, regardless of their background, regardless of their religion, regardless of where they come from, should be subject to terror, to harassment, to persecution for who they are. So it's amazing to see the Iranians, the Indians, the Jewish community, and also the Christians. And I want to talk particularly about Christians. Today, 1 in 7 Christians around the world is persecuted for their faith. This year, already over 250 Christians have lost their lives to jihadist terrorism. 2 weeks ago, we saw a church in Syria bombed by an Islamic State suicide bomber. Whole families were wiped out. Before that, we saw dozens of Christians massacred in northern Nigeria by the radical Islamist group Boko Haram. Before that, we saw Christians in villages in the Democratic Republic of the Congo be slaughtered in their villages, children too. Yet the world is silent, yet people don't see this. But it is so good to see today. There is a recognition that we are united in our love of people and united in standing against the hate. And unfortunately, even in our own country, we have a government that doesn't want to call out hate. We saw on Friday night, 3 separate incidences in Melbourne. An attempted arson attack at a Jewish synagogue, the storming of an Israeli restaurant, and a separate attack, and then also at Chris Minz's office, people chanting death to the IDF. Yet our government goes, we're still determining the motive. We're still figuring out what's going on. We're not really sure. We stand against all forms of racism. We have to stand for the truth, and the truth might be uncomfortable, but the truth is that there are people in our society, in our country, that don't share our values, that want to tear down what we have built. They don't believe in tolerance or respect or love of our neighbor, those Judeo-Christian values that have built Western civilization. So we need to come out here in our numbers, and we'll only achieve this if we're united. The Indian community, you guys are massive. You're incredible. We need to see you guys out here. The Persian community, I've never seen people so fired up. Week after week, you guys come out here protesting activism until Iran is free of Islamic terror. And the Jewish community, you guys have gone through so much. In the last 18 months, watching the fabric of our society crumble in the wake of hate from radicals and from radical leftists.
For my own religion, not even for that. I'm here for humanity. Because humanity has to learn to live in peace and harmony with each other. Because that's whatever you want to call
music, I've got to cancel that. We'll go back to Sydney.
In all directions, besieged by hate. Yet we stand here in love. And that's the key. If we're going to beat hate, if we're going to beat darkness, we need to be love and light. And that's what we are today. Thank you.
She's really good. She's joined Sky News now, which is amazing.
Yes, vote early, vote often. It's a great pleasure now to introduce a Christian singer, Clay Stewart. He's an Australian Christian worship leader. He spent time in Israel. His parents are currently in Israel volunteering and standing with the people. And Clay's going to be joining there next month. And his beautiful sister is going to be his music stand for this afternoon.
It's called Faith, Family,
So this song
and
is
Flag.
from a
We want to
church I used to
welcome
go to for a
anyone
very
who's
long
here
time, but I
today to be a
rewrote it
part
a
of
little.
that, who wants to see Australia retained as Australia and not overrun by dangerous
Tamaki's.
religions. Are you with that? Does that make sense? Cool. Well, with that said, I'm going to get my brother Dylan Oakley just to share the final part of our talk today. So let's give a round of applause for Dylan. Thank you, Pastor Samuel. Look, as an Australian who was born and bred, generational Australian, Aussie, with my children growing up in this nation, I'm greatly concerned to see the hate, violence, property damage, intimidation against particularly Jewish Australians in this nation, multi-generational Jewish Australians who have never had to experience that in our history. It does not belong in this country. By God, we need to stamp it out. Like some of our speakers have said, people flee from war-torn countries, places where there are ancient disputes that are resulting in racial violence, political violence, bloodshed, intimidation. You can come here and make a new life, but don't import that kind of intimidation and violence with you. You know, it was William Wilberforce, the great English reformer and parliamentarian, very instrumental in overturning slavery in his day in England. He said, "Let it never be known that I was silent when people needed me to speak." And today I think we're hearing a call. It's time to speak. It's time to be seen and to be heard. I haven't felt that call as strongly as when COVID came into this country and the tyrannical response to that virus that ripped and tore the fabric of our nation, that plundered people from their economic institutions, their reputations. But I hear that call again today loud and clear. It's time to be seen and heard. We're not going to let this nation, I'm speaking on the back of a Melbourne synagogue that was set alight with 20 people in it recently, a couple of days ago, a restaurant that was stormed, tables flipped over. Don't bring that kind of intimidation, violence, disgusting behaviour into this nation. Friends, the problem is, the concern I have right now is that we're in an information war, and people, even unwittingly, are becoming propagandists for terror organisations like we've heard about today. Propagandists for Hamas, Hezbollah, and the like, Iranian regime proxies. And without even knowing it, as they come and sprout their harebrained ideas, they're actually propagandists for a regime that is oppressing and responsible for the suffering of so many in the Middle East. I want to stand with Pastor Samuel Tamaki as well. I will be at the rally. I will be at the rally on the 2nd of August at Queen's Garden at 12 p.m. I'll be speaking there as well. We'll be linking arms. Australians, I believe Pastor Mark Leach will be there as well. There'll be others who'll come along to that rally. And together we're going to push back against this stuff that's tearing at our social fabric. God bless you, everybody.
That was a good speech from Perth.
We've got some water to hand out to the crowd. Look, I really know it's hard.
Brisbane.
If you want to,
I think Perth is out, is it? Are they out?
Yeah, Perth is out.
I just changed it to
over
here. Nick is going to start handing out bottles of water.
Where should I go to?
All right.
You want me to go to maybe?
I think we'll do Brisbane still, right?
Yeah.
Get up
that's
there.
what we're listening to, yeah.
All right, the next
Melbourne
speaker
looks
is someone with a profound sense of justice, unity, and reconciliation.
who has felt deeply the attacks on the Jewish people, including
Gave you a
Jewish
sneak peek
Australians.
about what's going to come, so I hope you're all ready,
Desiree
because
was
when we
raised in
sing
apartheid South
together,
Africa, and she witnessed firsthand the destructive impact of systemic racism and segregation. Desiree describes herself as an average, everyday Aussie who loves baking and cherishes her family and community. My friends, I can tell you right now that there is nothing average or everyday about standing up to widespread hatred, racism, and intolerance, just like everyone here is doing. That is not average, and that is not everyday. Desiree is one of our biggest supporters. She is one of the most humble human beings I've ever met. As a Christian and a committed Zionist, welcome, Desiree.
Thank you. Like all of you here, I'm a proud Australian, and Hava shared very briefly about how I witnessed firsthand the effects of fear, hatred, and division. I was born and raised in South Africa in the apartheid era, a time when systemic racism and segregation were the law of the land. Apartheid enforced a rigid racial hierarchy, marginalizing the majority of the population through discriminatory laws and social exclusion. These policies permeated every aspect of our society, and they fostered a culture of prejudice and injustice. Those early experiences left an indelible mark on me. They taught me the dangers of othering, of looking at other human beings, of viewing them less than, simply because of their race, their religion, or their heritage. They instilled in me a commitment to stand against all forms of hatred and to advocate for a society where every individual is valued and respected. All of us, to some degree, carry the pain of injustice and suffering, personally or that of our forebears. We can choose how to respond to that. Together, we can choose to bring healing and peace. We can choose to be upstanders.
first step in fighting back. Melbourne. Not with hate, not with vengeance, but with unity, courage, and an unshakable belief in what's right. The world can feel heavy sometimes, can't it? The news, the threats, the fear, it can feel like the weight of the world is pushing us down. But I'm here to tell you it's not. The world is not against us.
Thank you for all the super chats. We'll get to them after the speeches. We'll read every single super chat. Really appreciate everyone that's helping support our channels. That's on YouTube. If you super chat, we'll read them after the speeches.
Part of a bigger process, a process of good people taking back control of our lives, our community, and our world. We're here because we know what's at stake. Terrorism doesn't just attack bodies, it attacks hope, it attacks trust, it attacks the very idea that we can live together in peace. But today, we've shown that hope is stronger than fear, trust is stronger than division, and unity is stronger than any bully's tactics. By coming together, sharing our stories, our pain, and our dreams, we've actually turned the tide. This is not the end of the fight, but it is the beginning of something unstoppable. So as you leave here today, I ask you to carry this moment with you. Go home, be safe, be happy, but stay ready. Because the call to action will come again, maybe tomorrow, maybe in a month, maybe in a year, but when it does, we will need every single one of you. This fight isn't over, but make no mistake, we are winning because we refuse to be divided. We're winning because we choose courage over fear. And we're winning because together we're unstoppable. Let's take this energy, this unity, this fire, and spread it far and world. Let's show the world that Jewish, Hindu, and Iranian communities, all people of goodwill, stand as one. Show the bullies that their time is up. And let's show ourselves that we have the power to shape a future where love triumphs over hate, peace triumphs over fear, and together we will prevail.
Guys, smash that like button, smash that share, subscribe on whatever channel, on whatever platform you're watching this now, and if you're on YouTube, you can super chat and we will read them after these speeches.
It's happening in Sydney, it's happening in Brisbane, it's happening in Perth, and in all those places, everyone is there for the same reason. And I want to thank two very special women, Roz and Hava from Minority Impact. They're up in Brisbane at their rally over there, and it's thanks to them that this whole event is happening. But it's bigger than that. We have 15 organizations cooperating and collaborating to put this event on today. I don't know how many of you have tried to get 15 organizations to cooperate, but it hasn't been easy. So I just want to read them all out because every single one deserves a special mention for choosing unity. Minority Impact, J United, the Lions of Zion, AJA, the Friends of Israel WA, Never Again Is Now, Iran Novin Party, Mel Iran, Mere Iran, sorry if I didn't say that one properly, Hindus of Australia, the Hindu Council of Australia, the Australian Hindu Association, the Queensland Jewish Collective, and the Iranian Constitutional Monarchists WA. We were led by Minority Impact, and Minority Impact are a diverse group of Australians from multi-ethnic backgrounds, united in bringing back social cohesion and standing against radicalism. So thank you to all of those who helped put the event together, particularly those who got up here and spoke. Thank you to the incredible Hindu, Iranian, Jewish communities that have been so open and cooperative and inspiring for us all to have a better future. Thank you to Simone and J United volunteers for being so instrumental in putting things together and making sure they went up without a hitch. Thank you to Josh Yakov and all our marshals. You guys were brilliant. There were no problems. They tried at the start and it finished. Hey! And lastly, thank you to all our volunteers and all of you.
In our capitals, every week for the past 21 months, we've been subjected to mass marches and rallies, not in support of the victims, but in support of the perpetrators of the October 7 attacks. There's been no significant counter-protests, but thanks for coming out today. Very limited public outrage. Sitting politicians and candidates often feature prominently at these events. Apparently, that's fine in Australia too. Concurrent with these public rallies, we've seen the targeting of businesses, residences, and the places of worship of those presumed to align with the victims. Only last week, in this city in Brisbane, we had a rally and march supporting the twin evils of a Jew-free Middle East and the Islamic Republic in Tehran. I don't like all Iranians, I like these guys, one Aussie proudly said in a filmed interview while pointing at a photograph of prescribed international terrorist and mass murderer Qasem Soleimani. That this is tolerated, that there's no outrage, shows our society has lost its way. When we align with the perpetrators of the violence that we are hearing about today from our speakers, rather than with the victims, it shows the values we once held dear, the set of values that kept us safe, healthy and prosperous, have been discarded. It's not just the public, it's plenty of our officials paying the barest lip service to our values while concurrently giving a nudge and a wink to the world's most violent, repressive organisations. Now, for me, supporting the murderous global terror-sponsoring theocrats in Tehran or obstructing a country's desperate defence against that regime's genocidal state-level terror proxies should be political suicide in this country, but it's not. That there is no outrage, that there appears to be no political or personal penalty for tolerating these entities, that our authorities seem unwilling or unable to act on targeted vandalism or violence in support of these organisations, shows the shift in our values. For huge sections of Australia, the murderers and rapists of Hamas, the global terrorist Hezbollah, The repressive theocratic tyrants of the Islamic Republic are the carriers of the values they aspire to.
Chain assassinations in the 90s. Dozens of thinkers, writers, and political activists killed in the Iran and outside of the Iran, like Ferdinand Farrokhzad, murdered in Germany in 1992. 5. A student massacre in July 1999. Security force attacked dormitories and killed many students, including Izzat Ibrahim Nejad, Ferishte Alizadeh, Akbar Mohammadi were killed, and hundreds of other students were wounded, arrested, tortured, or disappeared until now. 6. Green Movement crackdown in 2009. Dozens of protesters
What's your saying in Melbourne?
were killed in the street, including Neda Agha Sultan and Sohrab Ahmadi.
Mine, I want peace in my CBD. I don't want it dominated by every weekend, 78 weeks. I don't want that dominated. Stopping trains and trams and shoppers, it's not safe.
So, like, your agenda is to get rid of all of this?
Oh no, I'm pro this. No. But we don't stop the trains and traffic. They walk around and they change everything. It's unsafe. We're happy, loving people here. I don't want them to dominate. Come down here. I've been down here so many times. I've just had an Australian Southern Cross on my T-shirt, and and there's thousands of them. Can't believe it.
Do you hear what she's saying?
We have a right to protest. Everybody has that right.
I don't know who this is.
We're a free country,
Yeah.
But you don't have to wreck it for everyone. I want the violence to stop because they're very aggressive. We're not so aggressive, this group. We just want peace in the CBD. I have other things I'd like to talk about, but for today, I have other things that I think are wrong, and I'm in agreement with everybody here.
What dog is he?
Yeah, it looks like Trevor or Gary, but her name is Grace.
Oh no, that's Benji yapping away.
Reza Sayyadi. Mehdi Salmanzadeh, a 13-year-old kid who was hung in his
It looks
bedroom,
like Melbourne's
and his
wrapping
father
up.
is still in Evin prison.
Yeah.
10.
Yep, Melbourne
Ukrainian
looks like
plane downing. In January 2020, flight PS752 was shot down by IRGC, and 176 innocent lives were lost. 11. Political execution in 2020 and 2021. Navid Afkari,
I reckon we
an
could probably
elite
pull up
sport
those
champion,
super
was
chats.
executed
Yeah, let's do that.
because of confessing under torture. Ruhollah Zam, a journalist, was kidnapped and executed.
All right, let's go through some of these super chats, and then when they end with the Australian anthem, we'll stop for that.
Arab and Baha'i. 12. Mahsa Amini.
From Elizabeth King, thanks Elizabeth. Jesus rejects Islam, so should the world change.
I don't know if Jesus rejected it.
I'll
Islam
take her as a
wasn't around
comment.
when Jesus was there, but
Jesus would not have known.
I don't think he would have signed up for Islam. Although if you ask Muslims,
I mean,
Jesus
yeah.
was a Muslim, and so was Moses. So is everyone. Thank you for the super chat.
Anthony Madison, thanks for the super chat. I was in Iran 76 under the Shah. Let me just say it wasn't all peaches and cream. I mean, I don't think anyone, even Iranians, aren't saying that it was great under the Shah. That's not why they're asking for the return of the Shah. I think they've tried this Islamic regime because the people did. It was somewhat of a popular revolution.
Well, it was a revolution. The idea of the revolution was popular, but then it was hijacked by the Islamists because they were the strongest force at the time. There's David Limbrick. Yeah, look, I think also, because towards the end, the Shah tried to, because he was authoritarian, and then he tried, when it looked like he was losing power, he suddenly decided to take a more liberal or less authoritarian approach, and it was just too little too late, and the people hoped that they were going to get freedom. That's what they tried to get, and they didn't get freedom. They got Islamism. But I dare say that most people would prefer to go to the old Shah than be under the Islamic regime that it is now. However, it doesn't have to be either. The whether it's the whatever his name is, the Shah's son,
Pahlavi
who is
Shah.
a very who has learnt the lessons and is a very Western liberal free kind of person. He seems.
Yeah.
I think it won't be the same.
Yeah, and I think the proposition was for a interim type of role for him, so they can have democratic elections.
But it has to come from the
Porky,
people.
Has to come from the people, of course. Porky, thanks for the super chat. Islamophobia, meaning the total rejection of Islam by the people of a peaceful nation. Australia will never fall to an evil Islam. God bless Israel.
Look, I think if you look around Europe, there are certain places that are falling to extremists that are being brought in by, I think, either naive, ignorant governments or feel-good leftists who don't realise they're going to get eaten first.
Yeah. This is the thing, right? So you kind of look at, in the past, you would have seen like, oh, maybe you have to do terrorist attacks to subjugate people in the West. But you can just be submersive, and kind of instill your own ideological values within that society and take over the, principles and the values and the virtues of the West just by doing that. So I think the tactics have changed a lot in terms of how they try to intimidate and control the West.
Have I got a few?
So there are many, many, many victims of terror. There's a website that tracks jihadist terror attacks. When last I checked, since the attacks of 9/11, in the last 25 years, there have been close to 50,000 individual Islamic jihadist terror attacks on communities around the world. Wherever you find jihadis, you find terror attacks. This is an assault on our common humanity, and it is a battle. I know it's 1400 years, but I'm just giving you the numbers for the last 25 years in our lifetimes, because this is something that is not going away in a hurry. We need women and men and boys and girls of courage to unite and to stand together in the face of evil wherever we see it. And we need to encourage our government to stand and see the evil and call out the evil where it really exists. So we're all concerned about what's happening in other parts of the world, rightly so. But unfortunately, we can't change the Middle East from here. But what we can do is take actions to make sure Australia remains a place of peace and security for every single person, irrespective of race, color, culture, or creed. We are an amazing country. We're a country of migrants. If there are any Indigenous people here, you beat us here, but the rest of us have all immigrated, and we love this country. May God bless Australia and everybody who lives here. And we are going to now join together in singing the Australian national anthem. So I'm going to invite Leah and Hilton to come up and lead us as we stand and sing one anthem. Hi, everyone. Please, sure, thanks. Please, everyone, and good wishes to you too. If everybody could please. Okay, good. Yeah, I said good wishes. Yeah. So if everyone could join in the anthem, please, let's sing it with gusto and very, very loud and proud. Thank you.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature. nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Oi, oi, oi! Yeah. What are we going to do? We're going to do the song. One day. Yeah.
So we're going to sing a song called One Day. If you don't know the lyrics, that's fine. You'll get the drift. You'll join in. There's a lot of one days, so just join in.
It's a song about hope and peace. So, yeah. If our tech works. Control volume.
Your audio is cut, Avi.
I just
Cut
I'm
all the
worried.
audio.
I'm worried that
Yeah.
that's cut. That's
Who knows what
copyright.
that is in terms of, yeah.
I think in Brisbane they are trying to reach us. Let's just go to hold on, Brisbane. Here we go. Yes, here we go. I think some of the organisers want to talk to us, so we'll just
perfect.
We'll do some. I'm not sure if they can hear me, but let's read a couple of super chats while they prepare. Oh, here we go. No, they're pointing. Yes, 1 minute.
1 second.
Okay, there we go. Read a super chat while you're at it.
Yeah, Michael Sikia says Australia must place strict laws on everybody foreign that ignores our law and Christian values. We are now uncomfortable with the Islamic hate, frightening, huge problem.
Yeah, there's definitely elements within this community, and because they have the numbers, are intimidating the rest of us. Thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Okay.
Yeah, I think she wants to speak.
Yeah, let's talk. I can't hear her though. We can't hear.
Check to get the Brisbane audio in.
1 second.
And you switch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about me? Okay, I think you need this earphones.
Yeah.
You got me. Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, have you got me?
We
Hello?
do. Thank you so much
Beautiful.
for joining us. Okay, firstly, to let the audience know we currently have 11,644 with us. Can you let us know
Incredible.
who you are?
Yes, I'm Roz Mandel. I'm founder and co-director of Minority Impact. And I can't even express how proud and excited I am to say that we helped pioneer this approach, this multicultural approach here in Australia. And we initiated this event, which then was endorsed by 15 incredible community organizations around this country. And we're all here just united on this single issue to save Australia from terrorism.
So how do you think the day went? I guess you're just in Brisbane, so I don't know if you've seen the rest of the country. How did you feel at least Brisbane went?
I'm watching what's happening everywhere. I'm on the phone with people, and it's just, the feedback is amazing. Brisbane especially, it's such a small location, but it should not be underestimated because we are an incredibly multicultural city. We are the fastest growing city in Australia, and we have an increasing level of hate crimes and hate rallies in Brisbane itself as well. So it's really important sort of microcosms of everything that we're fighting Australia-wide.
I think a lot of the comments, a lot of people are talking about, a lot of people will blame this idea of multiculturalism for the sake of multiculturalism for kind of the problem we're in now. So why is what you're doing, I guess, better, or the answer to the problem that we're obviously seeing from those hate rallies, which are made up a lot of other multicultural communities?
Such a good question. I'll tell you what, just 5 minutes ago, 2 13-year-old Hindu girls in full Hindu dress just sang the Australian national anthem without even reading it from a piece of paper. saying it with such emotion. There are populations here that are living the true version of what multiculturalism is all about. Because multiculturalism in its true form is about coming into the framework of Australia, accepting and embracing Australia's culture and norms and values, and then bringing in your extra artistic, unique cultural sort of habits or aesthetic or ideas to improve that society instead of tearing it down. And food, of course.
Yes, we need that butter
absolutely,
chicken.
and
The butter
food.
chicken. Do not forget the butter chicken.
Yes.
No, I
But,
absolutely, I absolutely agree, and I think that we just witnessed now. We missed your Australian anthem in Brisbane, but we're watching the Australian anthem in Sydney, and it is beautiful, and it is a difference between, and I was pointing that out, what you see in the hate marches from the other side, even if it is with ethnic minorities. They don't sing the Australian anthem. They won't wave the Australian flag. They don't only hate Israel. They seem to also hate the country which they claim to have fled to. But I think it is important for people to see that there is a difference because just like multiculturalism, for the sake of multiculturalism, ends up being a bad thing that could end up eating you, going anti-multiculturalism for the sake of being anti-multiculturalism it's like the horseshoe theory. It's the other side of that coin, and it can be just as vile and just as bad. I think what we need.
I'll tell you what, it's actually the other side of the coin of what terrorism causes, because it causes such fear that then there's this whole segment of the population that are unable to see the beautiful parts of what multiculturalism can bring, and that it's from the same source. It's all from terrorism.
Absolutely. Now, a lot of our viewers wouldn't know your organisation. Where can they find you if they do want to get behind what you do and know about future events and want to actually be there physically next time? Where can people find you?
You can find us on Instagram and Facebook under the name Minority Impact, or you can find us at minorityimpact.com.au. We are fairly new. We were this little grassroots group in Brisbane. We did some really aggressive campaigning against the Greens in the last few elections, you may have seen, and we had a modest part in taking them down. And our whole thing is...
to be fair, I think they had a big part in taking themselves down, but that's true. It's thank you for
we
being
helped
a part of it.
project it. Yeah. We amplified it by telling Australia that they support terror in those simple terms. We put that on billboards with our multicultural faces on billboards, staring people down in traffic. It was very exciting. But I will say that we are all about building bonds in a deeper way. So not just a handshake, not just a rally, but building a relationship that is mutual, that is two ways, and that is public. And what you're seeing here today is actually just an external reflection of all the work we've been doing behind the scenes to bring these communities together over the past 2 years.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you, Avi.
What's your message to those watching at home now before we leave you and wrap up today's live stream?
Don't underestimate the power of building generational bonds. I really feel passionate that our different communities who share these same values and lived experience of terrorism, and again, this spans every religion and every kind of culture. It's just a matter of how brave people are to actually stand up and speak out. Start building those bonds and help people feel safe to speak out. And because change can only come from within a community. It will never come from top down. It will never come from a politician. It can only come from within. And I even mean those communities with the highest levels of radicalism.
Absolutely. Yep. Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
A pleasure to watch. And again, just last time, where can people find you?
minorittyimpact.com.au or Instagram and Facebook, Minority Impact. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Namaste.
What have I
Namaste.
got? Namaste. I like it. 1 second. What have I got going? Let me just get the Benji. We'll get that. That's the last people leaving in Melbourne. I think Sydney's done now as well. Let's read the super chats. Let's finish the super chats.
Yeah, bring them on.
Yep, I'm going to bring them on. Let's do the last super chat. Okay.
We got to get someone. I think she's about to speak to the camera.
Let's turn that volume
Let's listen in this.
Okay, talk.
Hello.
Avi.
How you doing?
Avi, g'day. Love you, man.
Appreciate it.
Can I
We can mute them. We can mute the mic.
Mute them
can
while
I flip the back? Can I flip it?
this is. Let's not hear. Read the super chat while he tries
From
to
Jay
flip.
Good. Thanks to Super Chat, Jay. I'm so glad to see a protest against that which mainstream extreme left supports. There are injustices on both sides, and Israel suffers too. That's interesting about the mainstream extreme left. You don't see them with these multicultural communities, the left coming in on board to, support Iranians, for instance, against a regime. It's very telling of where their ideological leanings lean towards, which generally tends to be towards things like communism and Islamic terrorism, which is very telling about the left.
All right, we got Benji's face. Warning to everyone.
Can you hear me?
We can hear
my
you,
God.
Benji. How are you doing?
My
Say,
name's Sophie. I spoke at the rally. I'm a 15-year-old Jewish advocate, and you inspire me so much.
I appreciate it. I think we actually cut to you for a bit. We heard what you were saying. It was pretty powerful.
Oh,
Do you want to summarize it? We've got about 12,000 people here across our platforms live. What's your message?
my message is that you're never too young to advocate, and that age is just a number. And I encourage every Jewish teen, just like me, that hears the hate speech, like the 2 days ago when East Melbourne synagogue was burnt down. It's horrific, and the government's not doing enough, and it's our job as the next generation to stand up. So I encourage each and every teen to do that, because
What
it's
would
not
you
just the Jewish problem.
What would you say to people who think you're too young, you don't know what you're talking about? You're like Greta Thunberg when she was 15, skipping school and protesting for climate change. How do you know what you...
I would say if you're old enough to be affected by it, you're old enough to change it.
If you're really being affected by it, which is the difference between you and Greta Thunberg at 15.
Well, Greta Thunberg, yeah.
Keep it kosher. God bless you. Thank you so...
Thank you, Avi.
Thank you.
Avi.
Yes, 1 second. We've got another one. Sorry, here we go.
Oh my God. Avi.
How you doing?
Yeah, I love you, man. That's the face of what the Jewish youth has got to look forward to. And we are in good hands, Avi.
I agree. She's articulate, smart, and brave. It's the perfect combination that we need today.
Keep up the good work. She's fantastic. And you keep up the good work.
Is it your daughter? Is that your daughter? Or is that no related? No, okay.
Well, it's my brother's
Oh, your
granddaughter.
niece.
My brother passed away.
Sorry.
And it's my brother's granddaughter.
Your brother's granddaughter. Well, he would be super proud, I'm sure, if he was alive today. He'd be looking down with pride.
Yes, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is. And he would be supporting you like you wouldn't believe.
He sounds like a top guy.
All right. You're a great man, Avi. You're very brave.
Thank you, guys.
Brave.
Thank you. Take care.
All the best. I'm Israel High.
I'm Israel
High.
Benji, let's get Benji. Benji, how was it?
You should have called me just now because there was a couple of drive-bys that happened from police. It happened so quick anyway, but I feel like they're about to show up now. They're gonna pick off.
So stay
people
there.
That are leaving.
You stay there.
I'm gonna stay here for a few more bit. Yeah.
Have you got your 360 going so we can actually see when you get shot from all angles?
Yeah. It's definitely rolling, man. It's definitely rolling.
All right, we're going to keep you on here. We're going to read some super chats and hopefully we get to witness some action while we're here.
Let me flip my screen.
Why? We want to see it hit you in the face.
I'm ugly, bruv. I don't.
We should mute him.
Okay, let's read these super chats.
It's from Jay Good. I used to work with Michael Scott in the army. I wasn't expecting to see him there.
Oh,
yeah,
that was
the colonel.
that was
speaking in Sydney.
We saw him speaking. Correct. Here we go. There we go. He's turned it around for us.
You don't need to see my face, bruv. I'm ugly, bruv.
No comments.
Yes, thanks for the super chat. Brett Norman, welcome. G'day. Thank you for the super chat. Here we go. A nice big super chat. Go on, read Lara. Thank you, Lara.
Laura, thanks for the super chat. Laura. Yeah. Australia is a part of end times prophecy. Australia has always supported Israel, as have my Scandinavian ancestors. Shalom to all. Praying for the peace of Jerusalem. Jesus is returning soon. So bit of history and biblical meaning and prophecy there as well.
Laura, really appreciate the super chat and the support. Thank you so much. And it's great to see real Christians out there standing for what they really what they believe in, what they've traditionally believed in, and not joining the mob in twisting biblical scripture in a weird way to somehow join the mob, which we've seen so much of recently. So thank you so much, really from the bottom of my heart, Laura.
Jimmel, thank you.
Thank you so much. We got Benji there chatting up girls in the background. All right, and another super chat from Archie. Go on.
Archini Gamage, thank you for the super chat. Let this just be the start. People are waking from their slumber. As a mother of two, I'm ready to be uncomfortable to save our beautiful Australia for our children and the generations to come. Look, I think, people are definitely speaking out more because we are seeing these kind of incidents become more brazen and just attacks on everyone in the country. I mean, no one should be attacked in Australia for their ethnicity or their beliefs or their religion, anything like this. But I think more and more people are waking up to it in the sense that it is affecting the harmony within our cities and our way of life here in Australia.
Agreed. Thank you for the super chat, mate. I've done it again. Look, I've done pretty well for managing all the technology today, mate.
It's not been bad. We've got Cruel Intentions. Thanks for the super chat again, mate. Australia needs to be multi-ethnicity country, but the only culture needed is the Aussie culture. I tend to personally agree with this view that it's okay to have a multi-ethnic society.
I think that's what they were getting at. I think it's just like people's understanding of those terms. So I think what the organizer was saying is like, how beautiful is it to have all these different cultures, but like these ethnicities. So bringing their good with them and the things that they can share with the rest of the Australian community, not to impose it, not to demand any, just to go, hey, this is like where we come from. And then embracing the Australian way of life, which is, the laid back, no worries, g'day, how we doing? We are Australian first, together as a community, and not bringing in those age old hates that you've tried to flee, and that's kind of the point here. But I agree. It's just hard because people use different language sometimes and they mean the same thing. When you're politically active and you're a political machine and you care about, you focus on this stuff all day, these words mean specific things. But to the average, Australian Indian or Australian Jew or Australian whatever, that they're trying to articulate the same thing that you actually believe in.
Yeah, of course.
And it comes out, it doesn't sound
I think
the
limit should be art and food. Really, that should be the limit of cultural additions from other
people are free to practice whatever they want and to dress how they want.
I'm just saying, just in general, in terms of infusing with everyone else, that's what we can all kind of have a general understanding of. The other things are, just because something works overseas doesn't mean it works in Australia. And I think people have to get out of that mentality, like, where our countries, if it's so great, go back. You know what I mean? There's got to be that kind of
exactly.
There's got to be that.
Exactly, and I think and I think it's important to note what the difference between the two rallies are here at the moment is people are saying we just want to be safe in Australia, and what we're seeing, the scenes that we're seeing, especially in Melbourne, where just over, you just have to look. It always tends to be one day away, 24, 48 hours ago, where. People sitting at a restaurant, and I bet you most of the people sitting at that restaurant on a Friday night, just enjoying an evening out in Melbourne, probably had no idea the restaurant owner was even Israeli. They probably had zero idea about any of the politics that these people were putting on a place to go out on a Friday night, and then they became subjected to violence. They got subjected to harassment, which escalated into violence. Because we've imported this kind of hate, and also in the universities we've kind of manifested this, tribal insanity because we've moved away from, teaching actual, the maths, the English, the sciences, and we've gone to this like radical agendas, whether it's radical gender ideology or, the radical view of the world where the West is evil and the oppressed and the oppressor. Like it's the entire system that has brought. So that's what I'm saying. Like there's two groups in that. When you look at even Friday night at that restaurant, you could see that some of the people being arrested were all the masked up lefties, which have just lost the plot because they've been indoctrinated, many of them from a young age, and that's what's coming through the system at the moment. Or it's the jihadis, the Islamic extremists that we brought here. You can actually hear accents on people that are standing there fighting in our country.
Yeah, they want, this is the crazy part. They want everyone else in society to join in with them as well. Like they're asking for the support of Australians when they do these protests, apparently, but they refuse to carry the Australian flag, and they attack Australian businesses and the Australian way of life. So it's all over the place. I mean, they're disliked, however you want to put it. Decent, common Australians, everyday Australians, do not support that type of activity. It's just not supported in this country. But for whatever reason, it's being tolerated, and I think it's just like some of the speakers have said, it needs to be stamped out. Because just if you just flip this a little bit, let's say that there was some sort of Islamic terrorist attack, and Australians went around targeting all the Muslim restaurants or something, like Lebanese restaurant, whatever, wherever that person's from, there would be outrage, and it would be totally different, even from the left, for whatever reason. But for some reason, we have decided in this country, that when I say we, I mean the political class and the establishment, that we should tolerate attacks against Jewish Australians as being normalized because of views around the conflict in what's happening overseas. Now, I, as personally, as an Australian, I do not care what is happening in that foreign conflict as much as I care about what is happening in Australia for Australians and our Australian way of life. Like that comes first. So if we can't get that correct and have a peaceful and enjoyable life here, nothing else supersedes that. So that's why those things need to be stamped out, because it's making it uncomfortable for everyone in our state of Victoria, and it's actually dividing society. It's obviously making people question multiculturalism, which is the correct thing to do in this instance because we've seen the problems with it, and it's just making it dangerous because innocent bystanders who have nothing to do with any of this, who might not even know what's happening in that conflict, are getting caught up in this left-wing madness and Islamic extremism that we're seeing normalized in this country, and it's just not right.
100%. Guys, make sure whatever platform you're on, hit the like button. It helps the algorithm. Share the stream. People can go back and watch what I thought was a pretty successful stream. We had at one point, I think 8 different cameras going. But subscribe to whatever the page you're on now. Whatever platform, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. All sorts of lives. There's live events, then there's also live debates, live shows. So make sure to hit the notification bell, and on YouTube, select all notifications when you hit that bell. But I think we're probably going to wrap up right about now, unless there's something interesting going on. Who's turned the camera? I think it's pretty much done and dusted. Oh, hold on 1 second. Let's hear what...
Hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. What's going on now?
I think there's still people lurking around, but nothing's happened. Nothing's happened yet. There's no other rally protesters coming up. I don't know. They didn't show up. I guess there's no point now. I think everyone's leaving and nothing's happening now. So
well,
yeah.
Benji, we just want to say thank you for your hard work today. You were finally did a good job. Just taking you 5 years.
By the way, do you want to be on the camera? You want to be? Sure. By the way, do you recognize her? Do you recognize your friend?
Oh, how you doing? How you going?
We met at art.
We did. How was today's protest? How was the rally?
Yeah, it was really nice. I just got back from Israel, so I met Roz in Jerusalem 4 days ago, and she told me about it. It was such nice energy, flowers and songs. I don't know. It was really good.
What's your message to the 12,692 people watching across the platforms?
Choose love, guys. Love, not fear. That's my message.
On that note, thank you so much. I think that's a good note to end on. Guys, till next time, stay safe. Benji?
Yeah?
You're dismissed.
What's up? Thank you.
God bless.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much.